Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all the Leos out there. If you are a Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of January of 2025. We are nearing closer to the new year every single day. By the time we post this, we will be within a week, I believe. We're just a little bit over a week, but going on. I will be using my Grateful Dead Tarot deck, a brand new deck to me with bright colors, beautiful symbolism, and great connections to the band, which I love, and I hope you guys will too. So, with all of that said, let's see what Leo has in store for the new year. So as you may have noticed, those cards took about 3 seconds to fall out all together. So on the bottom of the deck, we have the Tower upright. So big changes are happening for you guys. And then in a clump, we had the Empress, the King of Pentacles. Great start, or great start. Great start there. The Knight of Wands upright. The Queen of Wands reversed. The Moon reversed, which is mystery in this one. And that is it. And I will say, just because he's sticking out under here, the King of Swords reverse, or yeah, the King of Swords reverse was also under the tarot. The tower. Anyway, so what's interesting here that I'm just realizing, because I'm trying to sort through what this means in my head, I'm like, give me something, give me something. That's part of being an intuitive reader. It's not just what the cards mean, it's how they work together. And every card is either a face card in the suits, I should say. So page, king, knight, queen. I said those backwards, but it's fine. Or a major arcana card. So there's a very specific energy here having to do with how you express yourself in the world. It's not necessarily outer situations that are going to be affecting you in the coming month of January. It's going to be how you feel internally and how you like to express yourself outwardly. And that's really interesting. I don't even remember the last time I've done a reading where it was no number cards. So King of Pentacles, King of Swords reversed, Queen of Wands reversed, Knight of Wands upright. There's an interesting dynamic here where you'll want to feel like whatever you are coming across, and maybe that has to do with whatever this big change is, as you approach this big change, it's going to feel like the rug is being ripped out from under you. But and not but and as all that's happening, you're going to want to do your best to just charge at it head first. Be like, all right, we're doing this, let's do it. And you're going to try to move very, very quickly through these changes. And you're going to feel like, and I'll show you the symbolism of the Knight of Wands in this deck, you're going to feel like the conductor and you're going to feel like you have all this power, which essentially that power and stability is yours. But there's also a semblance of like deception in a way, whether you're going to be deceiving yourself or deceiving others, or perhaps both, because I feel that one usually comes in the form with another. And as you want to seem like you're brave and you're just going at this and you're unafraid and you're like, whatever, I'll deal with it as it comes along. I got this, I got this, I got this. There's also this trepidation and there's this lack of connection to your intuition. There's this lack of actual trust and belief that you do got this. Even though you might be seeing with the King of Pentacles, you might be seeing that like, you know what, I'm stable. I'm actually navigating this really well. There's a part of your intuition that you are disconnected from. There's a part of your inner self that you're not listening to that might be like wanting. So this combination here can come out in two ways. Either you are trying to handle everything on your own and it's really unresourceful and your intuition is telling you to reach out and get help externally. Um, that's one way it could be. But you're like, there's like a pride thing, there's an ego thing that's stopping you from doing that. And that's saying, no, 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 I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Or alternatively, you might be relying solely on the help of others or the advice of others, or you're just not listening to your own intuition. And with the King of Swords upright, it's solitude in a very resourceful manner. When it's reversed, again, it could be either you need to reach out and you're not doing it because of ego, or it could be you are not giving yourself enough solitude, enough time within yourself to actually navigate what these messages are trying to convey, where you can benefit from taking some time, getting out of the chaos that is happening with this change that's occurring, stepping out of the chaos and just taking even just 5 minutes to yourself, whether it's in the middle of your workday or you're driving and you just turn the music off and you just listen to the silence and see what messages are conveyed. I think it's going to be split down the middle with this group here. And that ignoring that aspect of ignoring, because on either side you're still ignoring your intuition. You're still preventing yourself from going within too deeply, which is emphasized by this moon reversed. When the moon is upright, it's like you're charging forth, you're letting your unconscious come to light in a way that gives it the power it needs and deserves to have without that power controlling your conscious mind. So it's a very healthy connection to your unconscious where you're letting that primal side of you run wild in order to learn from it. When it's reverse, again, it can be two things, and I think this is going to be split depending on which side of the coin you're on here. Either either you have just dove in headfirst into your unconscious and are now letting these unconscious urges dictate your every move, which is why you think you might be able to do this alone, even though it's a massive change and we all need help from our communities. You might be leaning on one side where you're saying that's your unconscious habits, your unconscious pride that's saying, I can do it all by myself. I don't need any help, blah, blah, blah. Or alternatively, you're just completely avoiding the unconscious and you're trying to only act from that logical conscious mind. But because you are only acting from the mind, that's why you have to ask everybody else for questions, because there's so much going on. Your mind cannot fathom it. Your mind cannot process every tidbit of information that's coming to you. So either way, it's either your unconscious has too much control or you've completely taken the control, the connection from your unconscious. And no matter what side you're on, there's not a healthy balance here. It's either too far one way or too far the other way. And so you'll have to do some reflecting and figure out which side of yourself you're on. But I think the main message here, and I'll get to the Empress in a moment, the main message here with what has been spoken thus far is that it's important to strike that balance. We all need community. We all need help, especially when things change at a rapid pace, like without us even expecting it. We all need help. So put your pride to the side and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And that might take a lot of work, a lot of deconstructing and unlearning in order to get to that point, but don't be afraid to ask for the help that you need because it's available if you ask for it. And alternatively, don't lean too heavily on outside perspectives and really put value in your own internal knowing, in your own intuition, in your own inner thoughts, in your own inner guidance. Right now, this whole collective, it's either one side or the other with you Leos, and you will be able to figure out which side you fall on. It's time to bring it back into balance, no matter what side of the scale you're on right now. No matter what side of the scale. And with the Empress, this is just telling me that like there is a fertility and an abundance and like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, at the end of this massive change waiting for you. But it's going to take humility. It's going to take humility to get there. Because if you think about, and I love that this is the mother in this deck, if you think about it in terms of like the mother archetype, you know, somebody can have their whole life ahead of them and they have these plans and they have everything going for them and they're doing this and they're doing that. But they will say, as soon as that child was born, all of those plans faded to dust. All of those plans faded to dust. And they recognize like my life is now in like my life is in the hands of this child, or this child is now my life. It's wherever I was going previously. All of my energy, all of my love is going now to this being that I've just birthed into existence. And I think that's kind of the position you have to take here. It's recognizing and being humble enough to say, I had plans. The universe had another plan though. And so rather than pretending I'm still in control, it's time to surrender to the fact that I'm not in control. And the second you release that desire to hold on to control, that's when this abundance is going to open up for you. That's when you'll start to see the fertileness of the ground you're walking on. Like, yes, there is chaos. Think of it, I love using the forest fire metaphor for the tower. Think of it like a forest fire, where yes, everything is scorched earth. There's nothing left. Not a single drop except for the seeds that were already sown in the ground. And now that there is space, now that there is room, now that there's nutrients in the soil, the newness can start to grow. And we often see that what is growing in place of what was grows to be bigger and healthier and more vibrant. But it takes clear cutting, and that's why it's all internal. It's all internal for you, which is why we're only seeing face cards. You are going to have this coming of self, coming to terms of self. You're going to have to go within and make these changes internally, so that even when there is chaos outside of yourself, you know you're able to listen to exactly what you need in order to progress with trust that whatever is happening external is fine, because internally I'm fine and I know I will navigate this. And there was something else I was going to say. I don't remember. It was literally just on the in the back of my mind, and now I don't remember. Maybe it'll come up later. But before I shuffle again, I do want to touch on the moon. The moon upright, people put kind of a negative spin on the moon, I think, but it's really just coming together within yourself and allowing your conscious and your unconscious to kind of share the responsibility of driving your vehicle, your body, your soul, your spirit towards wherever it's supposed to go on earth. When it's reversed, again, you're either giving your unconscious too much power or not enough power and ignoring it. This is an invitation to go within. And again, just be honest with yourself about where you truly are, because this upright energy is available to you. And the moon upright can be a very, very constructive card when this energy is utilized resourcefully in your life. But it's about you having the strength and the bravery, again, to be honest with yourself about where you are, about what you need, especially if you need help, and about how you can ask for the help that you need. And trust, there's such a deep trust. And I'll go back to the mother before shuffling again. First time moms don't know what the hell they're doing. They just have to trust that what they are doing as a parent is enough. And they have to trust that they are able to show up not only for their child, but also for themselves. And that's the energy. It's almost like you are mother and child in this. In that you, as a mom, you have to navigate these strenuous, chaotic external circumstances you find yourself in. But as the child, you are still just kind of scared and you feel alone as you navigate through it. So you're going to have to be the parent and the child in this situation, and teach yourself, guide yourself back to yourself, so you can find that inner sanctuary and be able to move through the chaos knowing you are okay. Knowing that you are okay, because you are, and you will navigate through this, but it's going to take humility. It's going to take you having that conversation with yourself, being brutally honest with yourself, and figure out what you need from here. Again, quick shuffle, and still no number cards. So we had the Sun and Judgment come out together. And I love that Judgment just came out after I was talking about all that. And I will say too, in spreads where it's only major arcana and the face cards of the suits, it's a prominent energy you're carrying with you. It is a prominent energy you're carrying with you, Leo. It's just about trusting that energy. And it's also like, oh, that the Spider-Man quote just came to mind, with great power comes great responsibility. That's almost what it is here. You need to know that you have a lot of power and you hold a lot of influence in your life and the lives of others. So it's almost like how can you best utilize that to your advantage? How can you use that energy to be, again, brutally honest with yourself, with Judgment, with the 4 winds here? If you guys are of Celtic ancestry, that could be significant for you. How can you be brutally honest with yourself? Figure out, and I love that it's directional in this one too, because that's what Judgment is. It's karmic retribution in that way. It's karmic retribution where if you think about the Rider Waite deck, it shows like three people, and I love the symbolism of this card in the original deck, but it's three people facing, if you're looking at the card, they're facing away, so you can see the three people's backs, and then in the foreground, background, whatever, there's three people facing toward the person who's looking at the card, and then there's this big like being coming out of the sky playing like the flute or some instrument, like the horns. It essentially represents like Judgment Day, the rapture, whatever you want to call it. And you can kind of see that in the symbolism too, how they're going under the arch into this abyss essentially, and they feel so free about it because they're free of the judgment. They know that their judgment day has come, and they're just like, I'll take whatever I deserve, kind of thing. It really, the card of judgment takes the responsibility out of the mind and gives it to the soul. And I think that's really what you need to do, which is only emphasized by the sun or the sunflower in this deck. It's really only emphasized by the sun. And as, oh my God, we were just talking about being the parent and the child. The sun represents like the coming back to your inner child after the journey. So in the major arcana, it goes the tower and then the star. Oh, tower and the moon? Yeah, tower, star, moon, sun. So after you have this whole change, you're left with that barren ground. The star represents how you start growing into your potential after that ground has been burnt and it's now ready for newness, and you're it's like you're coming alive again, you're being reborn in that way. And then you start to grow, but then you recognize, I still have things in my subconscious that need to be sorted through with the moon. So let me go back within before I venture outwardly into the world again. Let me go back within with this newfound knowledge, this newfound wisdom that I gained, and see what still needs to be looked at. See what doors of my unconscious I can open up to let the light in, and let the unconscious become conscious in that way. And once you've sorted through all of that depth and the discomfort of whatever is still lingering in there that needs to be felt and released, that's when you get to the sun. That's when you get to innocence and truly being reborn as your inner child. This new curiosity, this newfound joy, and curiosity is coming back again. It's this newfound desire to experience with the lens of just like excitement and, oh my gosh, this world is so new. It's like that phrase that says, if we weren't so conditioned to like the bleakness of society, going to the grocery store would be a spiritual experience. And that's kind of what the sun represents. It's seeing everything you've been through and everything you are going to and everything you are in right now from a new lens, from this lens of imagining your 4-year-old self looking at it and be like, just staring out in awe and wonder and joy. And so January again, while your external circumstances are going to be drastically changing, it's almost like a what's the word? I don't even know. Like I'm getting a clear picture of it. It's like a person. Why did Mean Girls just come up? This is what I'm imagining. It's like in Mean Girls, after Regina George throws all of the burn book pages everywhere, and everybody around her is freaking out. People are running back and forth. They're calling them haunts. Like, what's going on? Blah, blah. And she's just standing in the middle like this. That's the energy of January for you, Leo. Despite what's going on around you, and especially that's why I used Mean Girls. It always comes. It always comes. Especially if the chaos that's going on around you is due to your own actions. Be still within it. Of course, no, that's not even for right now, so I won't even say that. That'll be later. Repentance, whatever. That's later. But right now, just be in that chaos and learn how to be with yourself in the chaos. Learn how to come back home to yourself, no matter what is going on around you. Learn how to stand in the fire and trust that I'm standing here because I am going to get the most benefits of this journey by standing right here. I need to be nowhere else but right here. It's finding that inner sanctuary within yourself. It's going to take humility. It's going to take brutal honesty. It's going to take you being humble and owning up to yourself where you've been deceiving yourself, where you've been deceiving others. where you've been knocked out of alignment, where you willingly knocked yourself out of alignment, where you've been self destructing, where you've been sabotaging yourself or others. And what's interesting is like logically, this feels like it should be a heavy energy, but it's not. I just got chills. It's not a heavy energy. So I don't want this message to be something you're afraid of, because this is what's waiting for you is this release, this surrender. And I think it's almost like it's a long time coming. You've been so afraid to go within, take that to actually go into the moon card and explore your unconscious self. You've been afraid for too long and now you're just like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of deceiving myself. I'm sick of living this life that isn't my own. I'm sick of self-destructing. And so rather than being afraid, you're just like, okay, fine, you're surrendering, which is brilliant. It's brilliant. And I can't tell you where that will lead you. That's for you to discover. That's for the later readings, whatever you want it to be. But just know that this energy of childlike authenticity, this energy of authenticity is waiting for you on the other side. True authenticity, not what your ego thinks your authenticity is. True authenticity is going to take unlearning a lot, and January is going to be very productive. And again, despite what you see outside of yourself, all of the movement outside of yourself, it's a time to be still. It's time to be still. Whew, that was good. I feel like I just read you guys. I mean, quite literally. But of course, with all of that said, this was a general reading, so it's possible not everything resonated. If that is the case, you can check out my website in the description below. You can book with me directly there for tarot readings, astrology, birth chart interpretations, human design readings, and numerology is coming in the new year, so keep a lookout for that if you're interested. If you did like this reading at all, leave me a like and leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. And of course, we do this every single month for all of the signs. So if you're interested in getting your forecast ahead, according to the tarot cards, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys here in the future. But Leo, I mean, there's nothing else that really needs to be said here. It's trust the stillness, trust yourself, trust that whatever your intuition is telling you need, whether it is more community or more self-reliance, you follow that. Trust that despite the movement and the chaos going on around you, you can be still and find the path ahead through that stillness. Come back to yourself. Come back to yourself. You're waiting for you. Your inner child's waiting for you. Your future self is waiting for you. It's just about coming back to yourself in this present moment, being honest with yourself in this present moment, and allowing Judgment Day to come. Surrendering to it, wherever that leads you. Good luck. I love you guys.